can hear my own voice. Give me a second to share it. All right. Let me make sure everything's okay before I share it. I make that mistake sometimes. Geaux Rouge Show, episode 30, June 2nd, 2020. I talked to, you need to fix Carlos Thomas. You have the H capitalized. Otherwise, it looks damn good, Brian Haldane. Hey, Facebook Live. Hope everybody's doing great. We're going to get started shortly. All right. Fire when ready, Mr. Haldane. I like that. Yes. But I will probably... I told him about 10:05, so let me text him. We're going to have Carlos from Memphis Mac BBQ. I'm hoping he can tell me what Memphis-style barbecue is versus, say, Carolina, say, versus, the other styles. I'm looking for some edification and education on barbecue. I mean, besides Google.
I learned a lot last summer in St. Louis.
St. Louis style's good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How long were you in St. Louis last summer? That was the vacay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was scheduled to be there from Sunday to Saturday, and I ended up coming home on Wednesday.
So would you say that...
No, Thursday morning. First thing Thursday.
Would you say that St. Louis style barbecue is, in fact, your favorite style barbecue?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Let me grab this.
Jared Ambo. It's the sauce or the rub. How are you doing, Ambo? You doing all right? Life's good? All right, let's kick this pig, man. Got to make room for your show at 11.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Stand by, please.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 30 of the Geaux Rouge radio show. For those listening on the radio this Saturday at noon, for those on Facebook Live, for those listening otherwise, good morning. I'm glad to be with you today. It is Tuesday, June 2nd. It's Black Tuesday. We're going to talk about that. Blackout Tuesday, excuse me. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But we got a good show lined up today. On Master Controls, we have the infamous Brian Haldane. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve. So, today's show, you know what? I decided I wanted to have for today, for episode 30, because it feels special. 30 feels like a special round number. I wanted to have less guests with more time. So in our first segment this week, we have Carlos Thomas, who's the pitmaster from Memphis Mac BBQ. Next segment, we have Brittni Blankenship from St. Jude. So we're going to talk about barbecue, and we're going to talk about St. Jude. Before we jump in, though, to Carlos, and Carlos, I can hear you, so don't go anywhere yet.
All right.
So before we jump in, let's talk about who makes the Geaux Rouge show possible. We have the following sponsors. We have Breck Parks, Louisiana Tech Parks, Sullivan Steakhouse, the Borkart Law Firm, and the Smith Shanklin Sosa Personal Injury Law Firm. All of those sponsors, we thank them. We wouldn't be able to have the show without them. Without further ado, though, Carlos, I don't want to put baby in the corner any longer than I need to. Carlos, what's going on, man? You doing all right?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. We're just over here getting ready for our lunch service.
Oh, we're gonna
smoking like it's going out of style.
So we're gonna talk lunch before we get done today. So look,
right.
As a primer for our listeners, I've known Carlos for a number of years. I first got acquainted with Carlos because I met his wife and we were public defenders together in the East Baton Rouge Parish Public Defender's Office. I then got to know Carlos a little bit better because Carlos was slinging some food at the Flame School for some fundraising. And then last but not least, I got to be a part of a fundraising initiative where Carlos and I got on stage separately in heels to support stars in the Hunks and Heels fundraiser. So I've known you a little bit. It was only recently that I found out, and I'm just going to be honest, I was ashamed not to know this until someone pointed it out, that you are quite the barbecue pitmaster, and that you had in fact opened up a little barbecue shop we're calling Memphis Mac BBQ. So let's start there. Where is your barbecue restaurant located?
So we're located just across the street from the south gate of Exxon on Larkspur Avenue at the corner of Larkspur and Chippewa. So it used to be the old Skyhood Cafe, and we were able to acquire the property in December and renovate it and try to bring it back to its previous grandeur.
Okay. So for those who don't know, it's like the Goldilocks perfect spot for those of us who work downtown, for those of us who live in mid-city, because it's not very far from either of those spots.
Right.
If you work at the plants, you're right there. So
exactly.
And look, I like the space for a couple of different reasons. It has, and look, I haven't even gone into the actual restaurant portion yet, but it has a hangout feel to it, right? It has a feel to like someplace where not only would I want to go get good barbecue, but it has a feel of this is a place I'd kind of want to hang out on a Saturday, and that's kind of the goal, right?
Right. There's a beautiful live oak tree that has been growing on the property for 40, 50 years, and it provides a great amount of shade. And so our eventual plan is to have that built out to a deck area so folks can eat outside in the open air because it stays cool, surprisingly, when it gets hot.
So I want to go backwards a little bit because when I met you, and by the way, he's not just a pitmaster, Brian Haldane. He's a doctor, Dr. Carlos. He's got a PhD in ISDS, right?
Well, yeah, that's my second doctor.
I'm sorry. It's your second PhD. So what's your other one in?
Yeah, I was crazy enough to get two. My first one is in public administration at Tennessee State University, and then I did the ISDS doctorate from LSU College of Business. So
when I met you, you were knee deep in education. You worked in the education field, right?
Right.
And in fact, your wife works in education. She does Title IX work. I need to know, and look, I already kind of know. I need to discuss with you, how does someone who has a PhD in public administration and ISDS go from working in education to slinging some of the best barbecue in Baton Rouge?
Well, okay, so it's crazy, man. So
yeah,
you know that we Carrie, my wife, got a job in Los Angeles. And so 2 years ago, we moved to Los Angeles for her work. I had been working at LSU in Southern, going on at that time about 17, 18 years. And I decided that, we decided, I should say, that it was probably a good move for Carrie's job. And then I would, I'd done consulting, and so I would just figure out something. And so I was able to actually get an appointment at USC in their College of Business. And so I taught there, and I did a fellowship with LA County's Child Support Services Department, helping them develop some algorithms around predicting someone's willingness to pay child support or not. So,
right.
So, that I did that for a little over a year, and about halfway through, I called Carrie. Well, Carrie and the kids moved back because my mother-in-law had some health issues, and we needed to be here with family.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed out there and finished my contract up. And about halfway through, I said, baby, I'm good. I've been teaching for 20 years. I'm good. I want to do something else.
You scratched that itch, right? That itch has been scratched.
Absolutely. And so she said, why don't you just stop playing around and do the barbecue? And I hemmed and hawed. I'm like, I don't know. And so the more I actually hem and hawed, the more it became very apparent that this was the next step for me. And so I've not looked back since. I was so fortunate to have the Nolan family entrust me with property that they built up initially to go ahead and purchase the property and redevelop it and make it into what I hope to be an economic engine and jewel for this part of Baton Rouge.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Sure.
In your mind, what does it mean to be an economic engine?
Yeah, man. For me, it's about providing opportunity for folks to obviously better themselves. I'm a bootstrap guy.
Right.
My mom was a widow at age 22, and she had 3 kids and a GI Bill and a high school education. And so she actually went to college on her GI Bill after my father was killed, and my grandparents took care of us. And I saw that behavior model every day. And so for me, what I'm in addition to loving to just be around smoking barbecue,
right?
It's been a pleasure to me to provide opportunities for folks in the community that we're located in. That's between Choctaw and Chippewa.
Right.
I am so fortunate to have such professionals and geniuses that I work with, and I don't use that term loosely. The things that these women do, because of their institutional knowledge, not only about this place, but just the food service industry in general, is really why we're still here. I mean, we shut down after 6 weeks of operation as a result of COVID, and these ladies have kept me going and kept the business going by saying, hey, Carlos, consider this, consider that.
Right.
This is stuff you don't learn in a textbook and a university. This is stuff that's learned from experiential learning. And so, man, it really is about providing opportunities for folks. I don't want to sound too conservative or too liberal one way or the other, but I'm a really big proponent of putting the opportunity out there in front of folks and allowing them to either find value there and move on it, or go, do something else.
So the good thing about food too, and you know this, and we've talked about it, the good thing about good food is it doesn't know race, gender. It doesn't, it's just a unifier, right? Good food brings people to the yard, so to speak. And in fact, one of the days I've gone out to visit with you, it was remarkable to me to see all the different walks of life rolling up. And this is COVID-19, right. So Carlos has a mask on his face, and he's just, you pre-order, you get what you get. And it was just like watching the cars just come one after another. And that was a good 3 or 4 hours of just watching that.
Yep.
I want to change gears a little bit because, look, you're a pit master. You make some really good food. Talk to me about the different styles of barbecue and why in the world are we going Memphis style? What is it about Memphis style barbecue that drew you in, versus, say, St. Louis, Carolinas? Talk to me about that decision.
Yeah. So let me qualify that a little further. As part of our logo, underneath it says Louisiana barbecue.
Oh, I like it.
So let me tell you what that means to me and my interpretation of barbecue here in Baton Rouge. The Baton Rouge palate is sweet, and so when you take Memphis and you do a Memphis style barbecue, you're talking about a dry rub. You're talking about very savory. You're talking about Mediterranean spices, in addition to the smoke that goes on the meat. We finish our meat, our ribs, with a sweet component. I won't put it out there, but
you don't have to spoil it, but
to actually accommodate the Baton Rouge palate, so much so that you don't even need sauce with our ribs.
Right.
Okay? They're savory, they're sweet. They have all the ingredients that you would have on a normal rib with barbecue sauce splashed on it. And that's really what we want. We want our meat to be flavorful enough where if you don't want to have barbecue sauce in it, you don't have to.
Right.
And so, I've been in Baton Rouge off and on 21 years, and I've become acclimated to really what I believe is the Baton Rouge palate. That is to have a savory, sweet
right
finish on your meat.
So, but coming up in your culinary development,
Mm-hmm.
like so that's the other question, right? Is I know how you got 2 PhDs. Like,
right.
Is cooking for people something that came later in life? Have you been doing this all along? I mean, because it's my understanding that you were competing. You were competing in some competitions too, right?
Well, we were actually, we being my one of my former business partners, we were actually cooking at festivals in South Louisiana. So we do the Rice Fest, we do local festivals here in the Baton Rouge capital region, Ponchatoula, and so that's really how we came about, really trying to develop different dishes and so on and so forth. But before that, I actually started cooking for my grandfather when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
I was raised by my grandparents and my mother. And so my grandfather would get up 4 o'clock every morning, go to work, and I would get up with him and cook.
Okay.
I just took a liking to cooking. Obviously, if you've seen me, you know I like to eat.
Dude, me too, brother. Me too.
Yeah. And so my start was there. My grandmother and grandparents lived in North Louisiana and then immigrated to Tennessee for work. But so much of how my grandmother cooked is analogous to, the South Louisiana style of cooking, the Trinity, seasoning, putting layers of flavor on food, and just kind of going from there, man. When I was in college, I used to actually cook because I played football at Vanderbilt. I used to actually cook for the guys in my close circle. On Sundays, I would cook red beans and gumbo and things of that nature because we couldn't get that at the training table, man. And I'll be honest with you, hindsight being 2020, I should have just gone to the Culinary Institute of America instead of going and getting all these degrees and becoming Dr. Thomas, because cooking is really my true love and true passion when it comes to working.
So I'm glad you did both. Actually, I like the fact that you scratched the itch of working in the educational arena. I'm sure that the knowledge you gain from ISDS studies, it has to help in the incorporation of running a business.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about. Okay, we got about 5 minutes left, Carlos.
Okay.
If I wanted to get some of your delicious barbecue, you guys are doing lunch right now, right?
Right.
All right. So talk to me. Give me some. How to get to Carlos? How to get to Memphis Mac?
So you can get it one of 3 ways. You can get it by coming to our lunch service Tuesday through Friday from 10 to 2 here in our store off Larkspur and Chippewa.
Okay. You
can come pick up. You can pre-order and come pick up food on Saturday mornings.
Sure.
Here at our location. Or the third way you can actually get it is we ship nationwide. This morning I shipped to Charlotte, North Carolina, Uniondale, New York, Chicago, Nashville, and Houston. And those were all orders that were made online, some of them directly through our website, some of them just people on Facebook direct messaging me and say, hey, I want some of this. Can you ship it to me?
Right.
Absolutely. We shipped a stick of bologna, smoked bologna, to a young lady last week in Portland for her birthday.
So I was talking in my household about smoked bologna.
Oh my God.
What is that? Because I was like, I've never had barbecue bologna before. And so I'm sitting there like, does he just smoke it?
Oh my God.
Do you put, I'm coming. Don't worry. I'm coming after the show today and grab some. It's happening.
Well, we don't have it on the menu today. But,
okay.
But this is essentially what happens. It smokes for 6 hours, the whole stick on the pit, right?
Okay.
We take it off, we slice it, and then after we slice it, we let both sides grill up on both sides, and then we serve it on a bun with slaw and barbecue sauce, and it is divine. We did a pop-up Sunday at Millennium Park on Florida, which is where our second location is going to be located.
Okay.
And, man, it was flying off the grill. Like, we couldn't keep it.
So
yeah, great stuff.
In addition to the great entrees you have, I got to talk about your sides, man. Your sides are just, I mean, here's the thing. At a lot of barbecue joints, they'll do one or the other right? I mean, the perfect scenario is everything's right. But if they kill it on the meat, maybe they kind of phone it in on the dude. Your sides are the beans, fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, so we got about 3 minutes left. Let's narrow it down a little bit.
Okay.
So if I want to go to your website, what's your website, and where can I find you on social media?
Sure. It's our website is memphismac.com.
Okay.
And next week we will start our delivery service with Waiter. So you'll be able to go to our website and have food delivered to you via Waiter starting next week.
That's going to be so awesome.
What was the other question?
Social media.
Oh, social media.
Same thing?
Yeah. We're on Instagram at MEM_MAC_BBQ.
Right.
And Facebook at Memphis Mac.
So I'm excited. Look, the biggest thing I'm excited for you is as we get back to normal, whatever normal means for us.
Right.
I am looking forward to being able to sit out there and eat some barbecue food at your spot. Even if it's just hanging out on a Saturday and maybe smoking a cigar on the concrete with the yard chair.
Yeah.
But man, congratulations on this. When I was out there visiting with you, you were killing it, man. And and look, whatever the secret recipe is to success, you seem to have tapped into it. It's good, consistent food, right?
Well, you gotta love what you're doing, man.
Right.
This is not an easy job. It's labor intensive, but again, if you love what you're doing and you have passion and pride in what you put out there, it's effortless. To be honest with you.
Well, look, Carlos, you're gonna be a regular on this show, and I can get you into the studio. And look, I know you're working hard. Maybe we'll come out to you, but when I can get around you to where we can actually film some of the food too, we're going to do it. Man, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you all, man.
Carlos from Memphis Mac BBQ. You guys definitely need to check this place out. Brian Haldane, I've been telling Brian about it for weeks now. So, Carlos, have a good one, man.
Thanks so much, Franz. Y'all be good.
All right. Dude, I'm not just saying that because he was a guest on the show. This barbecue is legit. And in fact, I'm going to go here. Some have said this may be some of the best barbecue we have in Baton Rouge. It's a bold statement.
I've heard.
It is good. So, by the way, before we take our first break, if you want to get more information about this radio show, you can go to www.geauxrouge.com. You can also go to the Talk 1073 website. We have our episodes are posted there. We're also on social media. You can go to the Geaux Rouge Facebook page. But more to the point, if you've got ideas for good episodes, please email us at info@geauxrouge.com. We're always looking for new stories on how to celebrate some of the folks in Baton Rouge. Carlos candidly got on my radar, and I'm ashamed to admit this, because one of my buddies who used to work with his wife at the public defender's office asked me, "Hey, have you had Memphis Mac BBQ?" And I was like, "No, I haven't. What is that?" And he goes, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about." And he said, "Well, Carlos Thomas is running that ship, right?" And I said, I did not know that. And I went out one Saturday and I just visited with him. The next week I got some lamb chops. Oh my God. The lamb chops were outstanding. In fact, all this talking about the barbecue, I need to get some today for lunch. By the way, let it not go without saying, Black-owned business. So if you're looking today on a Tuesday to Blackout Tuesday to support an African-American owned business, Carlos is your guy to do. Go get some lunch there. So we're leaning into our first break. So that brings our first segment to an end. Stick around on Facebook and stick around for our second segment. We'll be right back. All right. Stop. Reset. I'm thinking some AC/DC. Can we do some AC/DC music for the second? Man, I get excited about food, man. You know this. This guy, Carlos, is bringing it with his barbecue. It is amazing. And he's just, by the way, Carlos is just a good dude. Like, just a good down-to-earth dude. Involved in the community, involved in developing, the phrase he used, an economic engine for the community, providing opportunities of employment. It's just amazing. And by the way, providing really, really, really good food. So don't go anywhere, Facebook. We've got Brittni from St. Jude up next. St. Louis style. Now that's St. Louis is more of a sauce, right?
It's dry rub.
Oh, it's dry rub?
Well, it's either or.
Okay.
St. Louis starts with the dry rub, and then the sauces can be a little bit
so shameless
spicier.
Shameless plug for Mr. Ducote. Jay makes a dry rub, and if you haven't had his briskets yet, apparently his briskets are outstanding.
Dude, they're so legit. No sauce, by the way.
No sauce, just the dry rub.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, Brittni, it's Brian over at Talk 107.3. You ready to roll with Franz here? Awesome. Hang tight. Coming your way in just a second. All right. You ready?
Dude. All right. Welcome back to the Geaux Rouge Show, episode 30. This is the second segment. If you're just now tuning in the first segment, we talked to Carlos from Memphis Mac BBQ. Shout out to Carlos and all the great stuff he's doing. Great Black-owned business. Definitely worth trying for lunch or maybe even for a weekend order. This half of the Geaux Rouge Show is brought to you by the following sponsors. We have the Smith Shanklin Social Personal Injury Law Firm, great personal injury attorneys, as well as your go-to individuals to talk to about business interruption claims, Smith Shanklin Sosa. Breck Parks. Breck is a proud sponsor of the Geaux Rouge Show. Louisiana Tech Park. Sullivan's Steakhouse, your neighborhood steakhouse. Sullivan's, by the way, they're back opened up. Their dining room is firing some great food. I went there the other day and got some lamb chops. It was out of this world. Definitely you need to go check out Sullivan's Steakhouse. Tell them that I sent you. And then last but not least, the Borkart Law Firm. The Borkart Law Firm is the sponsor of the Geaux Rouge Show. For information about the Geaux Rouge Show, if you want to get more information about our show or information about some of our blogs, go to www.geauxrouge.com. And while you're there, check out our YouTube channel. Click follow, as well as check out our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Well, without further ado, let's jump on into a conversation with one of our favorite people, Brittni Blankenship with St. Jude. Hey, Brittni.
Hey, Franz. How are you?
Oh, just living the dream. Just the squirrel in small world. So, Brittni,
did you do this on purpose? Put the Memphis barbecue with the Memphis-based hospital? Did you do that on purpose?
I mean, there is some methods. I mean, if you want to give me credit for that, I will take credit for that.
I will.
So typically, Brittni, let me say this. Typically, I have been known to have 4 guests. So 2 segments, 2 guests each segment. And I'm trying to give people a little bit more breathing room to have conversations with me. And so I knew that I could talk to Carlos for half a show. And I knew that I could talk to you about all the great stuff that St. Jude is doing for half a show. So this week I'm not going to lie. It was purely coincidence that Memphis and Memphis. So before we jump in, it's important for everybody to know, just like I knew Carlos before Memphis Mac BBQ, I knew you before I knew that you were affiliated with St. Jude. Brittni and I were in a Baton Rouge leadership class together, and that is where I met Brittni, and I've done a little bit of work with St. Jude in terms of I spoke at a leadership mentoring weekend event, and I was trying to help out Brittni. I was trying to help out with a derby event, which I'm hoping maybe next year I can help out with. So that's how I know you, Brittni. How's life? What's going on in the St. Jude world these days?
Oh, it's crazy. We are very busy, and then it just makes it even busier working from home with a little one. So it's a lot. We have a lot going on.
So it's fair to say that St. Jude is a juggernaut when it comes to doing good, right? It does a fantastic job raising money, helping youth. How did that all change when COVID-19 hit?
Honestly, we're still pushing forward. So not much has changed in our strategy to push forward and fundraise for these kids, because even though kind of everything around us stopped, cancer did not stop.
Right.
So we still have children being diagnosed in our community, and still being sent and treated by St. Jude. So our goals didn't stop, just the way that we are operating changed a bit.
So give me some examples.
Yeah, like most people, we have gone virtual.
Yes.
So you mentioned the Derby earlier, and all of our events, the St. Jude Leadership Society that you spoke at, they have completely moved virtual, which is a new space for us. We're people. We like to interact with people and network and really showcase what St. Jude does in person. But we've had to move that on to a virtual platform, which I know most people are having to deal with this. It's different. It's completely different. Some of our programs are looking a little different this year, and I'm sure people who are familiar with the Baton Rouge Dream Home, the St. Jude Dream Home here, that's looking a little different, just in terms of not having those in-person telethons. Still blasting it on TV, but it's all just looking and feeling a little different.
And here's the funny thing about looking and feeling different. What day of the week is it? Because some days of the week I'm okay that things look and feel different because I really don't have a choice about it, and it's better than the alternative, which is nothing. No St. Jude, no Geaux Rouge radio show. In the same breath, man, oh man, am I ready to get back to some normal. So when I worked with you guys first, it was at the leadership event, and I did not realize that you guys spent so much energy and effort in mentoring the youth. Talk to me a little bit about some of your programs towards that initiative.
Yeah, so we have a whole youth team, actually. if you think about it, a lot of our patients fall in that category. Although St. Jude does, once you're a St. Jude patient, you're a St. Jude patient for life.
Right.
So if you're treated at the hospital at the age of 5, you actually receive follow-up care throughout your life. We have life studies that continue on. So, but a lot of that does start with our youth, and we have so many programs at the hospital that are targeted at making sure schools, so if a St. Jude patient comes back to their school, their home school, they really work with the students and the teachers in the school to make sure that student is coming back into a good environment, so that the students, their classmates, are aware of what happened, but that doesn't make their classmate any different than they are. So
I would imagine
of that work goes on.
I would imagine that is an important part of the treatment of a young person, is that portion.
Sure.
And in fact, it's educational both for the patient, for the St. Jude kid, and it's educational for the other kids who've probably never dealt with those kind of things before.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's the awareness aspect of
right.
it. We're not just a fundraising organization. It's fundraising and awareness.
Right.
So that's just hand in hand with what we do.
So in addition to the leadership and the mentoring, which, by the way, I spoke about what does it mean to be a good citizen, which is a tough conversation, right? It's very lofty, and it was very, I spent a lot of time thinking about that. But man, it was great to see the young people in that room, and it was great to have the interaction because each one had a mentor that they were working with. It was great. So I'm glad you guys are doing that. And that strikes me as something that can be convertible to the COVID-19 world. I mean, whether it's doing it virtually, whether it's doing it through Zoom, that's something we can keep doing.
And that one really, so I'm a little biased here. That's my favorite program. That is my baby. You mentioned earlier we went through a leadership program together. So our Chicago office started doing the St. Jude Leadership Society 3 or 4 years ago now. And when I heard about it, I immediately just knew that I had to be involved, and we had to get this down to Baton Rouge. So we have a lot of patients in the Baton Rouge area. A lot of them now are in high school, and I was surprised by how many patient families joined in on the St. Jude Leadership Society program because they wanted to give back to the organization that helped their family. Because as you know, patient families don't pay for treatment, travel, housing, or food when they're at St. Jude. So this was a way that they could give back to something that helps them so much and also learn something while doing it. So the program is set up to where they have a mentor.
Right.
And then we have sessions about leadership. So they're learning to be leaders in their community, and it's very community-based. I like to pull in different Baton Rouge leaders so that they can learn more about their community and also get different industry perspectives. So I think for your session, we had Jim, he was the chairman of the ALSAC board, which is the fundraising arm of St. Jude. And we had you, and then we had my good friend, Allie Neal, who is now working as communications for the State Department of Health. So a lot of different perspectives on how you can give back to your community and a lot of good leadership tips. So thank you so much for coming and joining us for that. But
no
those
problem.
Students are amazing.
So I got the benefit of learning because oftentimes I tell people when you do things like leadership conversations, you learn more than you get more than you give, so to speak. And look, service, education, community involvement, these are all essential things that we want our young people. We want our young people to be educated in and have experiences with. So let's transition a little bit to local impact because that's really, I mean, look, you guys are doing great stuff all throughout the country, but I always want to know, what is St. Jude doing in Louisiana from a local standpoint for local patients to help local families. Talk a little bit about local impact with what's going on.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that we have a lot of patients from Louisiana. So Louisiana is actually one of the highest. We have one of the highest numbers of patients that goes through to St. Jude. One of the benefits about living in Louisiana, though, is we have 2 affiliate clinics here, one in Shreveport and one in Baton Rouge.
Right.
And so when these patients go off to St. Jude to get their initial treatment, they come back home and they can continue receiving their treatment while at home at one of these affiliate clinics.
Awesome.
Not only that, though, so even if you're not treated at St. Jude freely shares all of its research, which before I got into this industry, I didn't realize how rare that is. It's basically, we have a St. Jude cloud, and
Right.
all of the research is available for anyone to go and add on to, because the goal here is not to keep this to ourselves. It's to eradicate childhood cancer.
Right.
And if somebody else can add on to research that we are currently doing, all the better. So I love that about our organization, and that our treatment plans aren't just used at St. Jude, they're used at local hospitals. I've had so many people tell me, hey, I wasn't actually a St. Jude patient, but I was treated using a St. Jude treatment plan.
Huh.
Just add down the road at our local hospital. And they value St. Jude so much because of that. And so I feel like that is a huge local impact.
Right.
A global impact, really, just because it's really shared.
So let me, I kind of know the answer to this, but as a good lawyer, I try to ask questions that I know the answers to sometimes. How does one become a St. Jude patient? Because it's a miracle to be a St. Jude patient, as you pointed out earlier, means you don't have to pay for the treatment. And I can only imagine how monumentally expensive it is to treat cancer.
It's a lot. I've been shocked by some of the numbers. It's crazy. But so to be a St. Jude patient, you have to have a condition that we're currently treating. So that's something that we are currently studying. And on stjude.org, there is a long list of ailments, cancers, illnesses that we are currently studying and currently have trials going through for. But so you can actually just have your physician submit your paperwork to St. Jude and go about it that way. I know Louisiana doctors and pediatricians are very familiar with this.
Right.
It's just a submission process, and then you obviously have to fall in the age range of up to 18 years. So,
okay.
But yeah, it's honestly a simple process.
Right.
It just has to be something that we're currently studying.
Okay. So if I wanted to before we talk about what's on the horizon, because I always want to be able to give people a road to getting more information about you guys. If I wanted to get more information about St. Jude, where would I go?
So St. Jude as a whole, stjude.org, and we're also on Facebook, and St. Jude has an Instagram. For local events and things that we're doing locally, we have a local Facebook page.
Okay.
So St. Jude Children's Research Hospital Louisiana. So either the main website or our local Facebook page.
All right. So in our remaining 5 minutes, Brittni, I want to talk about what's on the horizon for you guys, especially in a COVID-19 environment. Look, I was, I hate to say this because it's going to make me sound so basic. I was more excited about the Derby event because of the opportunity of buying a Derby outfit for the Derby event and a Derby hat for the event, which I know, again, everybody in the studio is looking at me like, yes, Franz, you really are that basic. It
is a blast, though. It is so much fun.
So my role, I got to tell this because it's funny, Brittni, and Jay will laugh when I say this story. So I was asked by Brittni to be involved with this so I could help, MC it and kind of help spearhead it. And God bless Jay Ducote, who does a lot of community work and is very involved with the community. Jay was basically like, I've done this several times. I need a break. Let somebody else do it. So when Brittni approached me, it was like, hey, we need you to be like the Jada Cody of this event. As if I were sloppy seconds. Little bit like sloppy seconds there. But
we love you though, Franz.
Yeah, no, I appreciate any opportunity to give back, and candidly, working with Caleb Brewer and some of the other folks on the committee, it has been. I mean, really, I hate to say this, my job was really just to promote the event and show up and MC. I mean, the true hard workers are the committee members, and if all I'm doing is helping to sell tickets and showing up and having fun, I can show up and have fun. But that is an example of an event that I was so looking forward to. And look, I obviously understand. I was in the meeting where y'all talked about moving it to possibly next year. Makes perfect sense, right? So the question becomes, what's on the horizon for you guys in the near future that we can look forward to experiencing with your organization?
So much. So I kind of talked to you about this prior to this call, but we have a program that we had just started, and it's called St. Jude Learning Together.
I like it. Tell me more.
It is a webinar series. So far, we have had LSU strength and conditioning coaches, Connor Neighbors and Jeremy Jacobs. They led a workout for us.
Okay.
Very fun, but very intense. And we had local artist Chad Schoonmaker came on and did an art class
I'm
with
familiar
us.
with Chad.
Yes, he's great. He's
Right.
very, very involved with St. Jude. Donates to the Derby, actually,
Sure.
an art piece. And then we just last night had a cooking class with Nicole from Off the Eaten Path, NOLA.
Oh, yeah.
It's a food blog, and then also with Chef Lisa of Queen Trini Lisa in New Orleans.
So I'm going to throw
So
this
we
out.
cooked duck.
So wait, you cooked duck?
We cooked a Caribbean stir-fry cabbage, and it was delicious.
So you know what you need?
Mm-hmm.
You need an educational, you need a learning together about being a criminal defense attorney in the criminal justice system. No, I'm kidding.
How to get out of trouble with Franz.
Yeah, what to do when the poop hits the fan. So let me ask you this. Talk to me about your attendance. We got about 3 minutes left. Talk to me about who's attending. Are we getting good numbers on this?
Yeah, so we've blasted this via email, social media, word of mouth, and I think people are just really excited to do something a little different.
Right.
So the cooking class, that's fun to do together. You're still getting that social interaction, and you're doing something different, but it's easy. It's an easy thing to do. You're doing it from home, and you're still getting to interact with people. And it's a $30 donation to St. Jude. That's all it takes to get into these classes.
That's a no-brainer. That's
Yeah, and we have one coming up with, in a couple of weeks, actually, with Slap Your Mama Seasoning. They're going to do something for us as well.
So
exciting things.
If I wanted to get more information on the St. Jude Learning Together initiative, where would I go? Same website?
stjude.org/learning together.
I like it. stjude.org /learning together. Man, so, notwithstanding a criminal justice component of this, I like the fact that it's like strength conditioning, it's cooking, it's stuff that's good for the soul, right?
It all ties into our main St. Jude program. So
right.
These kids have to go through physical therapy. Our chefs at St. Jude have to cook nutritious food that's specifically tailored to these children, because it's a whole body treatment. And then the art is an obvious one, because we have a teen art gallery at St. Jude, and we use art a lot as therapy.
Right. Brittni Blankenship, St. Jude, thank you so much for being a guest today. Again, for more information, give them the website one last time, Brittni.
stjude.org/learning together.
I like
it. And then
it.
everything else is stjude.org.
Thank you so much for everything you and St. Jude are doing at a local and national level. We really do appreciate it, and you will certainly be invited to come back on the show whenever you want to, even if I'm just a poor substitute for Jada Cody. It's great nonetheless. Brittni, have a great day. God bless.
Thank you, Franz. Thank you.
So you sense that I'm a little butthurt about that?
A little
butthurt about that?
A little?
Dude, I said it this morning. Somebody called during... I was sharing some time with Brian Haldane this morning on Brian's radio show, and in the middle of my segment, somebody called in to ask about the briskets, the J. Ducote briskets, and I was like, what, two fat guys on the radio, you immediately think of brisket? I was a little hurt. So anyways, that's about it for this Geaux Rouge radio show. Thank you for listening. Again, www.geauxrouge.com for more information about the website. We'll be back next week for episode 31. God bless and have a great week. I love it. Facebook world, thank you for tuning in. Stick around on 107.3. We're going to be doing Point Break or Breaking Point. Breaking Point. It's not Point Break. When I think of Point Break, I think of Keanu Reeves shooting the gun in the air and screaming. Breaking Point, Brian's going to let me come back on again this week and talk a little bit about when you can hit rioters and protesters with your vehicle. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking more so about the criminal components of what happens if you were, in fact, to exchange something like that with a protester or rioter. I say protester or rioter. It could be the same thing. So we talk a little law with Brian. Definitely want to check out Breaking Point. It's from 11 to 2 on Talk 107.3. So anyways, y'all be good.